Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Brahma Mirastriparan Takare, Anushashi Bamisato, Buddhasha Gurusha Shukra, Shani Rahu Keteva, Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu, Om. Om Hrim Buddhaya Namaha, Om Hrim Karave Namaha. Well, greetings and welcome to Cosmic Kev 100. This is where we take the signs of the zodiac, the planets also known as grahas or grabbers, and the 12 houses and make sense of them, mostly in the Western tradition according to your sun sign. Now, if you know your rising sign or moon sign, that's probably going to give you even a better idea of what's going on for you this week. But with that said, here we are, and this is going to be for the 17th of December through the 23rd. So anyhow, and so this is also, this week is winter solstice. So winter solstice happens on the Pacific coast here in North America a little bit after 7 in the morning. So when we rise up on Sunday morning, we will be, which is going to be winter solstice, the sun's going to be starting to grow. I mean, it's sort of stationed for a few days, but things are going to start getting brighter, and that's Yule, and that's kind of the roots of the Christmas season. Now, on Monday's the last day of Hanukkah, and Hanukkah being the festival of lights, it's celebrating a victory against darkness and impossible odds of the enemy, and so that's that. Now, let's talk a little bit about Friday, because Friday evening at 5:43 p.m., we've got a new moon. That means the moon and sun are at the same degree, so you won't be able to see the moon, but the moon is going to be in a lunar mansion known as Moola, and that's actually where the sun's starting to move through right now. Moola is the root. This is considered to be the heart of the Milky Way galaxy. There's actually a black hole there, and they say that the secrets of the universe are kept there. Now, Moola is ruled by K2, that's the south node of the moon, and that's things that we don't understand with our head, but we might understand them with our heart and our gut feeling, the rest of our body. And it's often things that whatever somebody sows, so shall you reap. And we don't always know. Sometimes we sow seeds of goodness and joy and love. Sometimes we sow seeds of discord and unhappiness, and sometimes they take root, and it's not fun, you know. Naritri is associated with this particular part of the sky. She's considered to be this unhappy woman in a lot of ways who is a guise of Kali, but she's also a healer at the same time that carries roots for healing, things like comfrey, echinacea, garlic, turmeric, things that are going to be able to ultimately restore your immune system and stuff. So if you're having an illness, look to, the roots of Moola. I mean, always look to divine creator and the great physician for ultimate healing. But there is common knowledge in both Eastern and Western traditions that can get us healthier, and I think it's wise to look at everything. A wise person gets counsel from many sources, and so that's one of the reasons I do what I'm doing here. And it wasn't something I expected to do, but it was presented to me, and here, lo and behold, here I am. Okay, so with that said, beginning tomorrow, a little after 8, the moon's going to be beginning Wednesday, moon will be in Sagittarius. So we've got a few days, 2.5 days of this Sagittarius moon before it goes into Capricorn late Friday night. and trying to be free, philosophically free, trying to be less encumbered. The other thing about Moola is one of the symbols is a lion's tail. And a lion's tail, will rise up if it's angry or it feels like there's some kind of danger and it's been deceived. And any of the Ketu nakshatras, Ashvini, Maga, Moola, they're dealing largely with intuition. So, this is a dark time in the Northern Hemisphere, especially if you're north of 30 degrees, even more so if you're north of 40 degrees, and even more so if you're north of 45. It's really dark and you don't have a lot of light. And it's a time for contemplation, and it's a time for looking within and realizing where we've gone perhaps wrong and where we are cleaning up, setting up, releasing so the potential to create something that is right and good. The other thing is like in Vedic astrology, when the sun went into Sagittarius on the 16th of December, it's like we're on this different kind of trajectory between now and mid-April, where we're seeking moksha, liberation from all worldly concerns, and that's kind of a way, that's also kind of the next 13 days of the cycle. Once the moon is new in the Moola nakshatra, you can say 13 days after that, through January, early January, there'll still be this this transformation going on of release and working towards good. So with that said, I'm going to go sign by sign into everyone in Western tradition. So first, starting with Aries. So greetings, Aries. Welcome to your horoscope. Sagittarius rules your ninth house. So this is where a lot of good fortune ultimately takes place. This is also somewhat of an association with fathers, with teachers, gurus. It's associated with travel, higher education, exotic experiences. So this is where the learning takes place. And so in a way, we're entering this place where we're releasing from transformation and everything we built to what else is there? What can we learn from all of this? And Mars right now being in Sagittarius, going into Capricorn, it's going to be exalted Mars. And so you're going to do some of your best practical works over, now that Mars is in Capricorn in Western astrology over these next weeks. Greetings, Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope. So, Venus is in your 8th house. And so is the sun, so is Mercury. There's a lot of transformation. So is this new moon. So this is about release. This is about letting go. And this is saying goodbye to the ego. Like, this isn't about you. But this is also a time when you can ask other people for help, which is very humbling. And some people, that's all they do is ask other people for help, which is okay. But sometimes you need to help others. And I think, I've reached a place in my life I realize I have to help others if I want my situation to change. I can't just ask for help and say, what can I do? I actually need to actively go out and be the remedy that I want to receive. And that's how we really create a positive magic spiritual life with elders and spiritual people. That would be a good gathering for you. Travel is indicated as well for you because the sun's going to move into your 9th house on Sunday, as well as Mars already being there, and eventually Venus will get there too. This is big doings. One of the things I noticed about this new moon was, like, in Vedic astrology, it was at the last degree of Sagittarius. So there's this kind of coming in. I think our love lives will improve a little bit this week, actually, because Venus will be entering into sidereal Capricorn as well. So, greetings, Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope. Um, Everything's about relationship right now. And same thing with the new moon. How do we negotiate? How do we create better love in our life? How do we love other people better? How do we have a good self love that facilitates better communication? And so this is where things are moving forward. This is where things are about to change. And I sense that in your love life, things are about to deepen. And I would say also don't take anything too personal. When other people seize power that you think is rightly yours, don't fight with it. Don't try and go for it. Just relax. Know that this too shall pass and just be the best you can be, humbly accepting this situation. This isn't, this is kind of like not where we always want to go, right? Well, let's talk Cancer talk here. Greetings, Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope. I mean, the benefit of Jupiter. Jupiter as a planet, graha, grabber, is considered to be the guru. In Vedic astrology, it's also known as or Brisapati, and it is about being the miracle that you're waiting for. And it does bring, it's the exalted position for Jupiter, though, in Western astrology as well as Vedic astrology. Now, in Vedic astrology, Jupiter's already moved back, it's retrograded back into Gemini. So Jupiter brings a lot of expansion. So in a lot of ways, there's been a lot of maybe literary and information expansion during this retrograde period through Gemini that just happened last week or so. But for you personally, there's still a lot of good fortune. And a lot of things are focused on the sixth house, which means your health. It means helping other people. It could be doing some volunteer work. It could be that there's some conflict in your workplace and you need to peacefully pray and work things out. And that's the wonderful thing I've learned through my prayer life is that God is capable to, most consistently to heal our relationships than almost any one thing. If you desire to have peace with people, that is probably one of the easiest prayers to get answered. But you have to have a little bit of faith and say, I asked for this. And you'd be surprised. I mean, that's only my own experience. So your experience might be different, but it's generally takes a release. At worst, we can be neutral with people. But at best, we can be as loving and as kind as possible. And we don't have to have that reciprocated. And so, Mars and Venus is a little dristy with Jupiter. It's like, how can we expand our love? How can we expand our passions to do the right thing, to do a godly thing, to do a holy thing, a good thing? And with certainly during Hanukkah season, that's a really good thing to focus on. How are we bringing in light? And spiritual discipline, pray every day. I encourage this. God looks at the heart in how sincere you are. I don't think it's as much important as your practice is the sincerity of your heart. Greetings, Leo. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay, Sun in Sagittarius. It's kind of like party time, happy time. It's a time for good luck, good fortune. You're learning. There's a motivation of good things, especially for children. If you have children, their lives improve with this. There's a lot of joy that you can spread through your generosity and your kindness. And so that's where we want to go with this. Sun's moving in the sixth house, so that means watching your health. That means helping other people, giving donation, lifting up others. The other day, I saw this older woman with a disabled person, kind of struggling, and they might have been Latino or European ancestry, but then this young man of clearly African American ancestry just went and says, hey, can I help you with this? It's just like reaching out. Everything is not about hating those that have hurt you. You can be an active healer. You can be a helper. And it's just beautiful to see love it coming out of just young people, young men, at a time when, you know, they might be despised or suspicious because of their color. And it was just like, just this beautiful thing, like, hey, I'm offering kindness. You know, any of us can do that, regardless of race or, you know, and but he helped these two women out, and I thought that was so cool. And Leo, you're really good at that. You know, that's the lion-hearted thing. And, you know, now that Mars is moving in through Capricorn, it's like getting in shape physically, really important. Keep that in mind. Transform the way you view and look at relationships. That's important as well. So don't worry about being right. Let go of expectations. Ask for help when you need it. Greetings, Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope. Okay. So, I mean, the sun moving into Capricorn for Virgos is actually a pretty good thing. You know, it's like, oh, you feel more generous. You feel more in your heart. Your creative abilities get activated during this transition. I mean, this is what I know about it. Everyone's experience is going to be unique because the thing is you're not just your sun sign. There's all these other planets at work. And there's a creator above with this bigger plan. I mean, we as humans, myself included in this, you know, we have limited information, and I'll share with you what I know. But this is also a place where you've been kind of housebound more. And I don't know if any of you follow the weather, but the Central Valley of California, ostensibly the San Joaquin and Sacramento Valley, had been under a shroud of fog for like 3 weeks, where the temperature barely got over 40 degrees and was just constantly in the upper 30s, low 40s, and gray, and you couldn't see the sun. But if you like ascended up to 2,000 feet and got above that fog, you could look down and see this lake of clouds over the valley, and you'll be in warmer weather that was like more like the 50s and 60s and sunshine, and it wasn't nearly as depressing. Well, it rained today, and so the sun broke out a little bit. Things are moving around, at least on the Tuesday when I recorded this. And so I'm like thinking this is sort of symbolic, you know, reading the signs. Have more courage. Be ready to help people in your family and celebrate the children, the young people in your life, and the elders as well. You know, honor whoever you have. Your elders are here with you really short. So anytime you have to talk with them, speak with them is precious. A place where I have like a spiritual fellowship, there was an elder there. He was bound in a wheelchair, and had a couple of times I was able to kind of hang out with him. And it was just really beautiful. Well, he just passed away, you know. And it just feels better when you try to make a connection with somebody who's older when they do pass. So, yeah, just being disciplined in all your relations. It's not easy, but you have friends that are going to help you, Virgo. So fear not. Good things are coming your way. Let's go over to Libra. Greetings, Libra. Welcome to your horoscope. Now look at all the grahas. They're all towards the bottom of the chart. This is really indicating a lot of introspection, a lot of being at home, a lot of concern over family matters, and it's kind of more difficult to break out. Now Jupiter's kind of holding this whole thing together up here, and it's like your performance at work has been pretty good, and you're really your intuition is kind of on. It's sort of activated by Uranus there in the 8th house. Health issues that might be kind of difficult with North Node, Saturn, and Neptune. You know, you might have had some lung problems or throat not feeling quite right, and you just need to boost your immune system, taking extra vitamin C and zinc and other things. I mean, this is not medical advice, you know, but using nature's way, you know, it's hard to avoid sugar when everyone's celebrating the season with cookies for Hanukkah, Christmas, solstice, Yule, whatever. So it's like, you know, having temperance, and it's hard. because I love those things, and many things I love don't necessarily love me in return in the same way. And, so, I guess being more temperate with sinful delights, so to speak, is to your benefit. And Venus is going to move out of the third house into your fourth house. So just loving your home environment, getting ready to make your home environment nicer. Well, hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope. So, Sagittarius time is about your values, and it's about, your economic strength in some ways, but it's also about your family because you value them. It's about your throat, lower mouth, those areas, and how our words affect things around us. And when we're frustrated, it's hard not to say something that we really don't want to, and that's frustrating. There's a lot of passion behind our words right now with Venus and Mercury being there. Now, Venus, of course, moving into the third house. It's going to help you have sweeter communication. It's going to help you have better creativity. And I mean, Scorpio, one of the key phrases for Scorpio is I create. So it's a very creative sign. And look at this, with creating something that's spiritual and beautiful with Neptune and Saturn in the North Node. It's just be slow, be real. They say art uses a lie to tell the truth, and politicians use the truth to tell a lie, or something like that. It's just like, oh God, that's crazy. But with Neptune now in your ninth house, I think there's going to be a period of grace coming in your life. Look for it. Thank the Creator for it when it comes. Here we are today with Mercury, Sun, Moon, Venus, all moving to the end part of Sagittarius, about to go into Capricorn. So for Sagittarius, it's like, this is your time. I mean, celebrate. I want to give a birthday shout out to Stephen West, having a birthday this week. Thinking of others. I'm thinking of a couple of people that I know, that a few people that are in this area of the sky that had passed away. So that's really, that's kind of difficult. And there's people I can think of that I hardly ever see, but I want them to feel the blessing of this time too. So, I'll try my best. If you write your birthday in the comments, if it's coming up, like say in late December, January, let me know, and I'll try my best to give you some birthday love as we're going through this period of time. Yeah. So, well, I'll say a birthday shout to my friend Nicole, that's leaving Salt Lake, visiting her family, and is turning 57 on the 23rd. So that's one I was able to at least think of and come up with besides Stephen West. Anyhow, there is you have to kind of watch your movement at this time. There's a lot of energy charged, and it's the words you say, all of that are going to make a difference. And some of these people I mentioned are Capricorns. They're not really they're not Sagittarius in the Western sense. So a lot of transformation among how you communicate, who your friends are. Serious issues in the family, you're looking at that. There's you have to watch your health and do things that inspire good health, and just having quiet meditation time and just listening, like, God, teach me what I need to know at this time. I mean, that's probably going to be one of the best things you can do right now. Okay. Greetings, Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope, and happy birthday if you are a Capricorn born between the 21st and the 23rd, having a birthday this week. It's great. And say I'll give a birthday shout to Breezy, my friend, my goes by Brian O'Brien on Facebook. He's one of my brother's best friends, and I believe he's turning 58 on the 21st. So happy birthday, Breezy! And there's a lot of hidden things and finishing off right now for Capricorn. This is sort of the last few days of the sun moving through your 12th house, and we've got Mercury and Venus, leaving there, going in your first house. It's a big shift. I mean, anyone who's born in this area of the sky, uh, whether you're Capricorn, Sagittarius, there's some big shifts ahead of you, and you have to make knowledge. One thing I'd say is that relationships, especially for Capricorn, are going to improve. They're going to get better. Um, Friends can become better, and enemies can become friends. It's like a Bob Marley saying in one of his songs. He says, your best friend could be your worst enemy, and your worst enemy could be your best friend. I think it's a really no truer word spoken. So value your relationships, strengthen the ones that are good, and work on the ones that aren't so good. And strengthen your ties with your siblings, with North Node, Saturn, and Neptune there. I think it'd be helpful. I think there's going to be some good creative inspiration coming your way. And greetings, Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope. With Pluto in the first house, it gives you insights. It's like being in a helicopter on top of a bleacher, or just having this great overview of what's going on. Sagittarius time is mostly about your social life, and there's work parties and all these different parties during the holidays, and those are and now those are starting to sort of simmer down, so you can get ready to do the real work, the things you've got to do. You're a little bit concerned with finances right now, and I totally get that. Things aren't what they used to be, and I mean, we've seen incredible transferences of wealth to banks and large corporations during the last 20 years of 18 years, and it's heartbreaking, because it's obvious that we don't have the kind of leadership that's wanting to help everybody. And maybe it's intentional so we don't consume too much. I don't really know. If you're doing well, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Keep on doing well. If you want to give me a gift, you can Venmo me at Cosmic Kev, KOZMIC. Yeah, I'm open to that blessing. And like for Aquarius, I say improvements of your health are coming. You just have to work on it, and there's an element of unpredictability as to where you live and where you stand on that. But you've got good friends, and I mean, this is a time, the next 4 or 5 weeks, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to what's going on. What the whole of God is trying to tell you. There's something. There's a nod, whether you believe or not. And your key phrase is "I know," but the truth be known, for any of us who are elders, we know that the more you know, the less you know about anything. Okay, so here we are. Greetings, Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope. Neptune, Saturn, North Node in the first house. I mean, that's been something you've been living with for quite a while now. And so the North Node implies both innovation and maybe a tendency to lie to yourself, try to deceive yourself. Neptune's like, I want to reach God, I want to reach agape love, I want to be giving good person, but I don't always know how to do it. I'm kind of like swimming. And Saturn's like, look, whatever happens, you're going to have to play by the rules and be fair. You'll suffer the consequences, and everyone suffers. But through this, if you have compassion for others, and then as you demonstrate that compassion for others, you can put some of it on yourself and learn from that, you're going to go places you've never gone before. It's actually going to be really good. So, this time is a time to focus on what you're doing in your in your career life, and that's moving to your social life. So, you know, a lot of times people are depressed right after the holidays. Have a little get together, make things fun. I mean, something other than necessarily football, but that's okay too. If that works, that's great. You know, we have a polar bear swim on New Year's in Chico. That, I mean, that's quite a gathering. So for people that have courage and are of the health, they can do that. It's a good thing, you know. Get fresh, get clean, get right. I love it if you subscribe, share my videos with other people. I love your comments. Thanks for John and Colleen and John bringing up the Ophiuchus thing. Yeah, I mean, it's there, but there isn't a metaphysical patterning with Ophiuchus, and I'm not as well versed in Greek astrology because that's where that name comes up from. You know, it's sort of like this sign kind of between the constellation of Scorpio and Sagittarius. I know the Rosicrucians would talk about that particular half of their, I don't know, they have like a system of 7 parts of the year, and that portion of the year, the half that goes from like November 13th or something like that, or 11th through the 6th of December, is called a mystical polarity, you know. So there's a lot of mystical, spiritual activity in that part of the sky. That's about the best I can do today, but thank you. Thank you for that comment. And to Nicole saying hi to you, Worldly Shant, much love. Thank you, friends. I need you, and I appreciate you. And more than that, I need that love of my blessed Savior, all that. Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat.